Okay, hello everyone. So I'm hoping that if you're watching this, you can hear my voice and you can see my face and see my computer screen. My name is Katherine Hanes. This is for TSL 330. This assignment is material development. Um, Let me just make sure, material development and class management. So today I'm going to be presenting on blogs and microblogs as an instructional tool in the classroom or in an educational setting. And as I'm recording this video, it is Friday, August 29th, and I hope to have this posted by Sunday, August 30th, to the discussion board on Canvas. Okay, so I guess let's just dive right in. Blogs and microblogs. Okay, like I said, my name is Katherine. This is for TSL 330. This is an assignment that will start for y'all on Monday. And if you have any questions, I will share my information at the end of this presentation so that you can reach out to me. Okay, so first let's just hit the basics. A blog and a microblog. I'm sure these are terms that you've heard. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a blog is a regularly updated website or web page, typically run by an individual or a small group that's written informally. So usually when you're reading a blog, it's not quite the same as reading a newspaper or reading a book. It's a little more conversational and casual. And then a microblog is even more casual. It is a social media site where users make short, frequent posts. So you see this a lot on Twitter or Facebook. Just as an example, which I'll share about later, my high school English teacher used Twitter as kind of a classroom microblog. The night before quizzes, she would send us reminders or give us like hints and tips. So that would be an example of a microblog. Okay, so just a little history of blogs. Also this, just imagine this is a timeline. Okay, so in 1994, the first blog was created. This is pretty impressive. I mean, when I first saw this, I thought, wow, that was not that long ago. But at the same time, when we think about how far computers and technology have come in just 20 years, 30 years, 1994 was pretty early. And then in 1999, the blogging platform Blogger was launched. I'm sure many of you have heard of Blogger. It's still being used today by a lot of influencers on social media who microblog and blog. And during this time, between 1994 and 1999, the term blog was coined. So when the first blog was written, it was called a weblog, and later it was shortened to blog. And then in 2003, Google launched AdSense, which is a way people can have ads on their blogs and websites and use blogs as a source of revenue. That same year, WordPress and TypePad were also launched. So I personally write a blog just as a hobby, and I go through WordPress. I would say that it's probably the top recommended site for people who want to own their own blog. And you can go through different web hosts. So 2003 was a big year for the blogging world. In 2005, the Huffington Post was founded, and you may be thinking, why does this relate to blogs and microblogs as instructional technology? This is significant because the Huffington Post is something notable. It's something that we actually read, and it bears weight and prominence, and it's a credible source, and it started as a blog. Okay, so between 2006 and 2007, microblogging was introduced. Obviously, microblogging couldn't be introduced until there was some sort of smaller social media that it could be introduced on. So that first platform was Twitter in 2006, and Tumblr was not far behind it, which has kind of begun to phase out. But Tumblr was a place where people share their thoughts, not in lengthy posts like a blog, but sharing them frequently. So microblogging. In 2009, the White House debuted their blog. So this is also significant because somebody in power now has a blog. So blogging is no more this joking matter. In fact, during this time, the first blogger was given a White House press pass, which is significant because their writing, although casual and conversational, was now considered to be something credible, to be a reliable source. And then in 2016, most recently, WordPress announced .blog. So you could have, for example, my blog is called happilyhanes.com, but you could have happilyhanes.blog. So blogs were just growing and growing and growing. And I can even say that before 2016, I had teachers who used blogs in their classroom, which we will get to. Okay, so let's talk about some strengths and weaknesses of blogging, not necessarily just as instructional tools, but just in general. So, strengths, top 3. Many online platforms pretty much do your blog for you. Initially, when you were setting up a blog, you had to do a lot of the coding yourself. And it was really challenging unless you had a lot of technological background or background with computers and coding. But now, so many things allow you to create a blog for free and easily with ready-to-go templates that are free. Places like Weebly, even WordPress has free templates. There's a online resource I will talk about in just a minute called EDU Blogs. It's all set up and ready to go for you. So you don't have to be very confident using your computer. Second, regarding students and teachers, a blog and microblog are really relative to students in today's world. I mean, if you think students really starting in grades as young as 3rd grade, all the way through college students and adult students, they're always on their phones. We're pretty much all on social media. We're almost all on our computers. So this is very relative, and because it's relative, it's effective and engaging for students. And third, blogging and microblogging is very beneficial for hybrid teaching. So that would be like what's going on right now in the world. Most schools are offering an online option for students, if not requiring an online option for students. So normally where they would be in class with handouts, being lectured to face-to-face, everything's through Zoom or through Google Classroom. So something like a blog is a great hub to have to really create that classroom community when classroom community is a little difficult right now. Okay, and then, with every rose has its thorns, so there's also some weaknesses. First, with anything on technology, there are technological difficulties. So, if the internet crashes, if your website gets a virus or gets hacked, anything like that is considered a technological difficulty. Also, if your student doesn't have access to the blog, which is like your hub for classroom organization. Also, something I've experienced, I don't have all social media, so I don't have Twitter. And when I was in high school, I had a teacher who posted quiz tips to Twitter. So I have my friends send me the tips, but some students don't have access to all social media, especially younger students. Their parents may not allow it, and those things need to be considered. Second, some students just don't excel with online writing or online check-ins or really anything online. And it's like pulling teeth getting them to log on every day. This sounds like I'm only talking about younger students, but this also could apply to adult students who they don't want to log on that day, or they think I could sleep in. So that is definitely a weakness of blogs or microblogs. And more specifically for microblogs, with so many posts on social media, it would be easy for a student to just scroll past. And third, it can potentially be very time consuming. It's time consuming first to set up your blog, depending on how detailed you want it to be and how personalized you want it to be. And it's time consuming to go in and make sure that students are doing what they're supposed to be doing, especially if you have it public where students can post in your blog, in your classroom blog, and other students can read, it's time consuming because you've really got to be on guard. Okay, is what's being posted appropriate? Are people using their appropriate names and titles? And if you have to give feedback to students in their writing, that's very time consuming. Okay, let me move my face so you can see. Instructional benefits. There are so many instructional benefits. Like, I had a really hard time shortening this list. I just think both blogs and microblogs are fabulous resources to utilize. First and most importantly, a blog is your own content. You own the content. This isn't going through a platform that somebody else owns. It's not a school owning it and telling you what to post. So this is your very own content that you own, that you can edit, that you can personalize, and that you can save. So that is something very unique about blogging. Another great thing about blogs or Facebook groups is that it's an online hub all in one place. So for a blog specifically, you could potentially have every resource that your students need all on that one URL. So no more class emails with 50 links or 50 announcements. All they have to do is log onto the blog, type it in their URL, click enter, and there it is. Announcements, tabs with homework or coming up or activities, anything like that. It's all in one place, easy access for students and parents. Along with having an online hub, I'm thinking specifically for English learners. It would be much easier to translate anything in English if it's already online, or as the teacher creating the blog, you could provide more resources for English language learners that are all in one place and easy for them to access, and they could apply that to any class that they're in, which is really important. Just side note, when I was doing a practicum in one school, the teacher who had her students for English learning time really was helping them when in all of their content areas, because of course they were behind since they could not understand. So she was really their support for everything, and she only had them for 45 minutes during the day. So having a blog that could be accessed at any time would really be helpful, especially if students could post and ask questions. Okay, so third, this is kind of 2-in-1. You can hit on traditional and non-traditional literacy with a blog. So traditional literacy, for example, would be writing. You could give students a writing prompt and have them write. You offer feedback. It's a great way for them to improve on their writing skills, because it's more engaging than just sitting at their desk silently with a pencil and paper. And then non-traditional literacy would be digital literacy. So by having your students log onto their computer, accessing your blog, and navigating your site, you are helping them develop their digital literacy skills, which are crucial in today's world if we want our students to be successful in every area of their lives, especially in the workforce. Fourth, anyone can use a blog, all ages. So obviously, if you have kindergartners, they're not going to be accessing a blog as easily, but their parents could, and that's super easy access to log them onto a learning website or post classroom announcements. And then, like, high schoolers may not be as interested in your blog, but they might be really interested in a classroom social media page. So this is very relevant for everyone. Number 5, blogs and microblogs help students develop creativity and confidence. So when they're posting a blog post, they're the one in ownership, which really helps create confidence. And then, of course, they're having to be creative. A blog in and of itself just really cultivates that creativity, and students are forced to think outside of the box along with their teacher. And last but not least, blogs and microblogs can really help create a classroom community. I think this is really important if you have students in your class who some are confident English speakers and some are not, or if you're in another country and you have other language barriers, because online everyone can communicate. It's so much easier to translate. You can communicate through symbols. just like how we communicate every day to people all over the world through social media. Sometimes you don't even have to use words. You can use emoticons. So this really is a tool to build community, which right now, with so many schools being socially distanced and learning being moved online, is really important. Okay, let's move to some instructional drawbacks. So there's three main ones. First is security concerns. There are things you can put into place to protect your students' security and privacy, but that may cost money, which is definitely a drawback. Second, it's hard to control student participation. So you can't really control if students are logging on and participating. It's much harder to enforce. And third, just like I mentioned earlier, if there's any technological difficulties, that can really pose unexpected challenges and prove to be difficult. So all of those drawbacks need to be considered when you're weighing your options of, is this an instructional tool I should implement in my classroom? Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple examples, because part of your assignment, which I'll share in just a minute, is to share how you would use a blog or microblog in your future classroom. And I want you to be creative, so I don't want to give you all the answers. So I'm just going to give you an example for each. So for a blog, you could create a blog as a central hub for your classroom, or create student blogs where students can practice their writing skills, or kind of like in the movie Freedom Writers, a safe place for them to share. And as far as microblogs, you could create a social media account to share classroom updates and reminders just really quick, like, hey guys, don't forget to bring your box up to school tomorrow, or hey guys, don't forget, we have a paper due tomorrow, or there's a pep rally, wear your black and gold. So 2 examples. Okay, I just wanted to share with you some other resources. This is like extra if you want to look more into this yourself. The Innovative Educator, written by Lisa Nielsen, is an awesome resource. She thought school was so boring growing up, became an educator, and wanted to change that, which I love. So she just shares a ton of resources, a ton of ideas for making learning engaging, especially online learning. For example, her most recent post is about the hybrid classroom and the flipped classroom. Second, Primary Tech, written by Kathleen Morris. She shares a ton of ways to integrate technology into your classroom, and it's really easy to do that with her tips. And third, edublogs.org. This is what we are going to learn most about at the end of this. I'm going to actually have you all create a little blog through them. Super easy. It's an awesome resource. With EDU blogs, you can, as the teacher, create a class, and then your students can create student blogs and join your class, and everyone's connected. So it's a great resource, and it's free. So your activity. I'm going to share this here in detail. Then I'm also going to post this onto the discussion board on Canvas. And also, there's already a blog post up on the little pretend blog I created. So there are multiple ways that you can access this. And of course, if you have questions, post them in the discussion board or email me, krennick@murraystate.edu. Okay, so first you're going to create an EDU blog as a student. So when you create your account, you'll be able to say, am I a teacher or student? So say student. Once you create your account and log on to your dashboard, in the left-hand column, you'll see something that says My Class. When you click on that, you'll have the option to join a class. Search for My Class by typing Katherine's Classroom and ask to join, and it will send me a request. So I'll see that you asked to join. Okay, once you've done that, go back to your dashboard and click Add a Post. And I want you to just do, it does not have to be fancy at all. You don't even have to title it. Just type a paragraph or less about how you would use a blog or microblog in your future classroom. You may not know what your future classroom looks like. I just want you to be creative. I want to hear your ideas. So just share something fun and creative. Okay, once you do that, click on the link to take a little review quiz. So that'll be posted on my blog, or on the discussion board. And when you finish all of those steps, just go to the discussion board on Canvas and type done. Okay, so recap. Watch this video, visit my blog, catherinesclassroom.edublogs.org, take the quiz, and then tell us that you finished. These are all of my sources. So once again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing your creative responses.